Good morning.
Morning, guys. Welcome to WRME Live, where we do real life, real world real estate every day. And I could already use another cup of coffee. I don't know about you guys, but I am so ready for spring to be here. I'm tired. Normally, I love fickle Oklahoma weather. I'm over it. This 81 day, 40 the next. I'm done. I want to plant my garden. And I think the first official day of spring is supposedly March 19th, right after St. Patrick's Day. So I think there's also Mustang Public School spring break. I'd have to double check that one though. Normally do it with St. Patrick's Day. Neither here nor there. Okay, for any of our realtor people out there.
Wow, that was loud.
Sorry, I shouldn't clap. For realtor people out there, today is Old Republic's Sweet Tea and CEs at the Cohen Center off 15th and Check Hall at 11:30. You're welcome to bring your lunch. They'll be providing the drinks, and you kind of get one CE credit and for that 1 hour on your lunch break. And hopefully we'll see you there. Let's see. Oh, there's a bit of an uprising because also in the realtor world we have changes in our dues, and we could probably talk all day about that drama. Because I think everyone's a little bit frustrated with everything going up in prices. Higher interest rate, higher home prices. Starter homes have been...
Well, interest rates have been fluctuating.
Yeah. I have to admit, most people still think about what was happening in the pandemic. Like, oh, 4%, that's amazing. That was anomalous back then. We are kind of on the higher end. If memory serves, we're national average over 8% interest. But you can't be waiting for the next mega drop down to 4%.
Well, that's not the first time we've seen those low interest rates. So that was not an anomaly. It has happened before.
Well, getting down to the lowest I ever heard was during the pandemic, and it was, I want to say it was 2.75.
Yes, but myself... We had it in the 3s.
Ooh.
So we didn't refinance because there was no point in refinancing because we already had a low interest rate. So
yeah,
I'm not saying yes, 2s was low if you could get that with your good credit and everything, but it's not unheard of. So you just gotta watch and know to refinance and watch if it's smart to do. So
because again, noting on the refinance, if it really is just better to get a better interest rate, that's great. The biggest thing is I want to note is you don't have to move to get a better interest rate as long as you are. I'm sorry, I'm very expressive. Long story short, you don't have to move to get a better interest rate. There is such thing as refinancing where you just pull out, where you just redo the loan.
You don't even have to pull out money.
Correct. So that is completely optional. I think I've done it once on my house or past houses, and it was just enough that I could, get the lower interest rate and do a couple of repairs in the kitchen that I just didn't have the spare cash for, but we had the equity to do it. But no matter what, we were going to do it because we wanted that lower interest rate.
But if you refinance, at least make sure it's at least a point or so lower. That way it's worth refinancing. Most lenders will tell you a point at least.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have equity, you won't have to bring money to closing because you do have closing costs even if you refinance. Yes. So be aware of that. Usually it's a drive-by appraisal. Sometimes they do need to come in, but majority it's drive-by. So there is a new appraisal and all that good stuff. So there is cost associated with a refinance. So don't think there's not. But if you have equity, which you should, if it's been long enough, then your equity will take care of that. So.
But yeah, and just a personal note, I definitely recommend you don't pull out all the equity.
No.
Just if you've got a home repair that needs to be done and it lines up with your refinance, maybe pull out just what you need. But the last thing you want is to pull out all of it and then you have something wacky-tacky happens.
Don't pull out any at all.
Yeah, completely optional. I only did it because we had to do some stuff in the kitchen and we just didn't have the cash.
Or smart option, refinance and reduce your loan terms. So if you're refinancing and you can go to a shorter loan term, make your payments just a little bit higher because you're getting a better interest rate, do so and pay it off quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be smart.
You can reduce it down. We've had people reduce it down to a 20-year note from a 30, even though they lived there 5 years on a 30-year note. When they did the refinance, they agreed to pay a little bit more, but now their loan was 20 years, which took 5 years off of the old loan. So that worked out well for them, but they ran the numbers with their lender to see, one, that all the numbers panned out, two, that they could afford that slight increase because it was worth it to them, because for them it was their forever home. They wanted to pay it off as soon as possible.
And it might not be much of an increase since you're getting a lower interest rate, lower interest rate. So that increase might not really be that much.
Plus, shaving off 5 years, it can save that much more when you think of it that way. That's 5 more years you're not paying interest, you're not paying a mortgage. It can be worth it, but run the numbers with your lender and make sure you're in a good place there before any form of serious commitment. And I might have to go address a child. Excuse
They're
me.
playing instead of doing schoolwork.
Shenanigans.
We're multitasking today. Anyway, so always talk to a lender. It's smart. Credit. Your credit rating has something to do with your interest rate also. And just because you go to the dealership and you're buying a car and they say your credit rating is X, does not mean when you go to the lender to talk to them about your credit rating, it will be the same as the dealerships. They pull from different sources. So note that. So be aware of that when you go to talk to a lender versus a dealership or a furniture, wherever you might go. Everybody pulls from different sources. So when you go to talk to the lender, talk to them about your credit score, your debt to income ratio, all that good stuff. And they will talk to you if it is a good time to refinance or not. So always talk to a local lender. We refer you to some if you need some, whether it's at a bank or a mortgage company. We have a couple if you need some, and they will be able to walk you through that. So just let us know if you don't have one. And then what else do we got today?
Oh gosh, let's see. It's March 1st. We survived another leap year. Woo! We made it through the 29th.
Still on us.
Oh gosh, tax season. I'm very blessed that my taxes are done.
Procrastinating.
It is so worth getting it over.
I know, but I hate them.
Although
I'm still waiting for my child to get me his stuff though, so that is there.
There is that factor. Now, anyone out there, if you know you're going to have trouble meeting the deadline, now is the time to file those extensions.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking from what my CPA told me, because I have my personal taxes and then I have to help the company with its taxes. And it's not small. No. And so she's like, let's just file an extension as precaution. So that way, if anything happens, we've got that little bit of extra wiggle room. But now's definitely the time to be getting all your taxes done and wrapped up so you can move on with the rest of this year.
Yeah. I got a college student, so getting him to get me his stuff is like performing a root canal. So, yeah.
Pulling hen's teeth, I think is the country term.
Yes, it's definitely difficult. So, and then doing your business stuff, mileage and all that fun stuff is not fun either.
Yes, I think for my own personal taxes, all the reports I printed from just my own QuickBooks was probably that thick. Yeah. And lots of flags and
I miss the good old days where the company just sent me my W-2 and I just logged in and said here.
Yeah, you can do so many. A traditional person with less complex lives could probably do it online. I think the IRS website even had double check me on this, but I could have swore when I was doing stuff for the company online, they were actually saying how you could do it through their site for free. Double check me. I might have been swamped.
Even back then, like the benefit of somebody else being responsible if they screwed it up.
I picked I switched CPAs a couple years ago, and I picked this one for a number of reasons, and one of them is this one has an insurance that if I get audited, they'll take care of the audit.
Yes.
For me?
Yes.
I will happily pay slightly more for my CPA to never have to worry about an audit. I've got enough stuff on my plate.
I do that.
Oh.
Somebody else responsible for the goof up? Done.
Or even just someone that will go sit with the auditor.
That's what I'm saying. You take care of it. You Yes, done.
Because sometimes you get audited when you did nothing wrong. But I have enough things on my plate that if I randomly got audited...
Can I deduct this? Yes, no? Okay, thanks.
You'll
take care of it if that's wrong? Good.
Yep.
Done.
Yep. The ability to most merrily pass the buck on to someone else goes a long way. Especially when it involves the federal government. I'm good.
You have another agent that's agreeing. Yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? Somebody else responsible if we screw up. Usually it's our responsibility, so it's great.
Far. It goes so far because we have enough liability being realtors. We could go that's a whole different episode of all the wacky tacky things that can go horribly wrong.
I'm sure our inspectors, our roofing companies, anybody else out there that's self-employed.
Even the appraisers. Oh my Lanta. Everyone's got their foot to the fire in a different way in real estate, and you got to keep above board. So it's so nice to go, your turn, and kind of like leave it in their lap. You can handle this. You're a CPA. Right. Let me sell you a house, but you handle this swamp. Have fun.
Right.
Oh, goodness. Are we doing it okay with time?
We are.
Okay. Awesome.
But yeah, so tax season's great. That's why you see us drinking all the time.
Lots of coffee in my case. I can't do alcohol. That's her job.
But what else do we have? So tax season's for home ownership too. So make sure you take your accountant, the nice little sheets you get from your
title company.
It's usually when you buy a house. Your mortgage company at the end of the year. You should get a nice little envelope with a bunch of stuff about the premiums and all that crap on there.
The main thing I want to note, and the only reason I note this is because this very recently came across my desk, is I had to help a past client. They sold their house. They moved to Tulsa. God bless. But in that move, they had to close out all the stuff that came with this house. And their tax person asked for... One of the words for it is called a settlement statement.
Yes.
It's also called a HUD.
And an ALTA.
Or an ALTA. Those are the three most common terms. HUDs are more of an older term, unless it's certain loan types nowadays. Yes. But point being is they're all pretty much a very similar document. And when you bought the house and when you sold the house, the CPA will need the document so they can kind of correlate what the taxes need to be on it.
Make sure you save it and take it, because the title company, you will fill out a little form. They will ask you some questions. You will sign it, and it will be given to the IRS. So make sure you save that, keep it, and take it to your CPA, your accountant, whoever you have that files your taxes, or if you do it yourself, have it with you. So it's important because it will have a number on there that you will need. So... I'm not sure what else we're talking about. I got left alone again. Let's see. What else do we have? We have... Okay, I don't know. We don't have anything else, so we were just going to talk randomly, I guess. So, you guys got anything? Anybody watching? Or am I talking to myself? If not, then I will just wrap it up and we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. So, later, and have a good one.